Hey there, gang. I'm MyRadar meteorologist Matthew Cappucci. Tropical Storm Debby is on final approach to Florida. Now, it is still a tropical storm at this juncture late on Sunday morning, but that said, we do expect it to intensify into a hurricane before making landfall somewhere near the Big Bend, I'd say late tonight into early tomorrow, meaning Monday morning. Wind, storm surge, and flooding will all be possible in Florida, but then Debby moves into the southeast. We're talking Georgia and eastern parts of the Carolinas, where I'd say 10 to 15 inches plus of rainfall is possible, with localized totals of 25 to 30 inches, leading to a flood disaster in spots. Right now is probably a good time to make plans for potential flooding. Now, if you haven't already, follow me on Facebook and Instagram for more severe weather information, and follow MyRadar across the board on all social media platforms too. So diving in right now, we see here's our storm. It looks a little more improved structure-wise than yesterday. That said, on infrared satellite, we see most of the precipitation, most of the convection, shower, thunderstorm activity is east to the right of the center, meaning the whole storm's a little bit lopsided. I think the reason for that is dry air on the western side. Radar confirms that too. Again, most of the showers and storms to the right. That said, we're noticing a few storms try to kind of wrap around that nascent center, and if that's the case, latent heat release and vertical stretching of vorticity or spin will help intensify this storm, especially as thunderstorms kind of lift air up and away from the center. The air pressure will deepen and it'll strengthen even more. And all told, I do think it's poised to strengthen right up until the point of landfall. The reason being, it's over water temperatures of like 87 to 90 degrees. That is high octane fuel for a tropical cyclone, a lot of oceanic heat content. Plus, there's divergence, spreading of air aloft, which means we're essentially taking air away at the top, making it easier for warm, moist air from below to rise, helping intensify this storm. So today we've got scattered downpours, rain squalls, torrential downpours working across the Florida peninsula, winds gusting in there, I'd say 40, 45 plus miles per hour in the strongest storms, and moreover, there could be a little rotation within each of those little tiny feeder band squall type things. That's why the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center is highlighting the potential for an isolated tornado. Gusty winds are likely elsewhere across the Florida peninsula, but the biggest wind threat will be near the landfall location in the Big Bend. We're talking 75 to 90 mile per hour gusts at the coastline. Probably around Perry, Florida, I'd say winds either side of 80 miles per hour during the peak of this into Monday morning. A few 90 mile per hour gusts are also possible in like Appalachia Bay over towards Bald Point. To the right of where the center comes ashore, we'll have onshore winds piling water against the coast and leading to a dangerous surge. I think several feet of surge are likely, say 2 to 4 feet for Tampa Bay, down towards Charlotte Harbor, really up and down the west coast of the Florida peninsula. But when we get to the Big Bend, a bigger storm surge threat exists with 3 to 5 feet, locally like I'd say 6 to 10 feet possible for places like Steinhatchee, Horseshoe Beach, Horseshoe Bay, that area, over in the direction of Cedar Key too. Then the storm moves northeast and stalls over Georgia and the Carolinas, where a general 10 to 15 inches worth of rain are likely, localized 30-inch totals as this thing just sits and dumps water Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Weather Prediction Center has drawn a level 4 out of 4 high risk for flash flooding and excessive rainfall for eastern portions of South Carolina. Now remember, high risks only are issued on 4% of days, but they account for 40% of all flood deaths, so take this thing seriously. And because steering currents are so weak, we don't really know what this thing will do once it starts to meander and might wobble a little bit east or west or move back over the water and intensify into a hurricane again. We just don't know. It could linger most of the work week, which is concerning. We do think tropical storm conditions are likely at the coastline, especially if the center moves over water and re-intensification ensues. So I'd say plan for 50 to 65 mile per hour gusts at the Carolina beaches. Some surge possible too. There are tropical storm watches up already for coastal Georgia and South Carolina as far north as near and just north of Charleston. As always, we are watching this nonstop around the clock. Doesn't matter what day of the week it is, we've got you covered. Keep it tuned to MyRadar here in the app and follow us on all social media platforms as well.